Well, we're going to start off with Turkey, as it says that the NATO missiles are due to be stationed on its border with Syria. The move is widely seen as the beginning of the Western military alliance's active involvement in the Syrian situation. Turkey formally asked for the surface-to-air Patriot missile system last Wednesday. A joint Turkish-NATO team is set to begin its working on the project. A Turkish military statement says the team will assess where to station the missiles and the number of foreign troops needed to operate them. The Turkish government insists that the missiles are needed to counter what it views as potential military threats from Syria. The deployment has angered Damascus, which calls the move provocative. Russia and Iran have also opposed the deployment, saying they perceive the NATO missile system as a first step toward implementing the no-fly zone Turkey has been asking for. Well, we're going to cross over to Louisiana. We're being joined by Hisham Talawi. He's the host of Current Issues TV and Radio. Many thanks for joining us here on Press TV, sir. Now, earlier we'd heard the NATO head saying that they will not be trying to militarize the situation in Syria, and yet now we're seeing NATO missiles being deployed on the Turkish-Syrian border with foreign troops that are due to be stationed along with these missiles. How do you think this further militarization of the situation in Syria is going to affect the situation as a whole?
Well, we have always known that it's only a matter of time before before NATO takes on the military attacks against the Syrian regime. What happened a couple of weeks ago with the war on Gaza, it kind of disrupted their plans a little bit, and that's why the United States pressured Israel to actually not to move into a ground war, because that would have taken Syria off center stage, and that would have actually worked against the United States and NATO plans in Syria. And with France making this move, it's nothing unusual. They have done the same thing with the Libyan theater last year. And they are taking the initiative now also on Syria, and it's only a matter of time before the United States actually follows suit. So it is only a matter of time before NATO actually gets engaged militarily in Syria. I mean, we have always known that this is only a matter of time. Now, the only way that this will be stopped if there are measures similar to that taken by Russia, China, and Iran, then we might see a standstill. But if Russia, China, and Iran don't move militarily, just like the Europeans have openly moved militarily, I believe it is all over for the Syrian regime. It's only a matter of time.
Right, but Mr. Talawi, let me just interrupt you there. We're running out of time quickly, but looking at the involvement of the West, specifically these NATO countries, as far as Libya went, they claim they're going to bring democracy and stability and protect civilians. However, that did not happen. We're seeing the situation in Libya far from being very settled and safe. How is that going to translate into what they bring to Syria? Because over here right now, they're talking about toppling a government which is against international law under the guise of protecting civilians or humanitarian situation and whatnot. But at the end of the day, the Libya situation speaks for itself, doesn't it?
Well, we have always maintained from the beginning that this has nothing to do with democracy or importing democracy into those countries. We have always maintained that this is a Zionist imperialist plot to destroy these countries. This is well known. This is the plan that Israel wrote 40 years ago. We have been talking about this plan, and they are implementing the plan exactly like they said it will go. So this is not something new, and I don't believe people will, I guess some people in the Middle East do believe that democracy is coming, but it is not democracy. We have seen what's going on in Libya, in Egypt, in Yemen. We have seen it all over. This is nothing but a lie. It's